Greetings, unsettled souls, and welcome to the Correct Views. We have been ready to go forever. We're bringing you the update of all things Fukushima. And if I seem like I happen to be in a good mood in order to give you really bad news, that's because I'm in a really good mood. Christelle, please check the level of the battery on the HD. That's because I am in an absolutely wonderful mood. I've got friends over, and unfortunately, I have to give you really bad news, which is all things regarding Fukushima. Once again, we have people in the studio like we did last time. Welcome to make comments at any time. Christelle, say hi to everybody.
Hello.
This is brought to you, all of Fukushima Update, brought to you by Sticker Junkie. By all means, look up Sticker Junkie online. Any possible design that you can come up with. Now, don't do something offensive, because D-Lake for Prez will catch you. He's the man. The man! Go to stickerjunkie.com. Any kind of possible artistic configuration that you can make, Sticker Junkie will make for you perfectly. So please look them up because they're sponsoring the Massive Fukushima Update. Friends, listen to this. Fishermen slam TEPCO for silence on cesium water dumped into Pacific. This is written by Christina Sarich, Infowars.com. It's the first time I've ever used Christina Sarich to lead off my Fukushima update. Regular viewers know that I care about my Fukushima update a whole lot because a lot of you trust me to give you the best news on it. Well, she's got the best story that I've seen. It's dated March 2nd, 2015, literally mere hours ago. It's only 4:33 a.m. here. Tokyo Electric Power Company has already been seriously negligent, and there's a link to prove why, if not criminal, in reporting on the true severity of the Daiichi disaster. Now, fishermen from the Fukushima prefecture in Japan are shocked to find out that water containing cesium and other radioactive isotopes has been draining into the Pacific while TEPCO sat silent. There's a link to prove it, and did nothing. For those of you new to the show, what is cesium? Why are you listening to this guy talking to you? Maybe he's got tattoos and he's got long hair and he's in a band and he doesn't know what he's talking about. Or maybe this long-haired guy that's in a band happens to have a little bit of nerd inside of him, and he has studied these things his whole life. I'm 42. Friends, cesium is a cancer-causing radioactive isotope. Democrats that don't like me, gonna kill you. Libertarians who love me, gonna kill you. Republicans, gonna kill you. Oh, but I'm a member of the Green Party, gonna kill you. Do you understand what I'm reporting on yet? This isn't a matter of if you agree with me. This is a matter of scientific fact. If you don't believe me, look up cesium and cancer, and then you'll come back and you'll watch the rest of the show. TEPCO apparently knew about the leak since last May. Fisheries are absolutely shocked. Mashakuzi Yabaki, chief of Iwaki Fisheries Cooperative, said at a meeting with TEPCO officials, I don't understand why, meaning TEPCO, I don't understand why they kept silent even though they knew about it. Well, let me, as the Correct Views, your humble host, let me offer a reason why that might have been. For those of you that don't know, TEPCO Electric Power Company is General Electric Power Company. It's the Japanese arm of General Electric, which is why you should never invest in anything that has to do with General Electric. If you are in a mutual fund or a stock option that they are part of, get out of it solely to hose them over because they're going to give someone that you love cancer. Let me offer why General Electric, TEPCO, same company, did this. The bottom line. Now, is there anybody, let's pretend, there's got to be somebody out of the people that are going to see this. Hillary Clinton fans, we have nothing in common. You and I disagree in every possible way. Radioactivity in the form of cesium causes cancer. You're listening to this because this is the one area where you and I are going to agree no matter what. TEPCO had previously sought the approval of local fishermen to dump groundwater into the ocean before it became tainted as a means of reducing the volume of water stored in the tanks at the reactor site. But due to this latest development, TEPCO fears a second round of approvals will be hampered and they will not be able to dump more water. Why would that be? Now, I get all these people telling me that I'm overreacting in the way that I report on this. Maybe, maybe not, but I can tell you this. I can tell you that I told you not to trust TEPCO. Now, do you still trust TEPCO? Now, Hillary Clinton supporter, I already said we don't agree. Hillary Clinton supporter, do you trust TEPCO? Because I don't. Guess what? We agree. It's the only time it's going to happen. TEPCO admitted this past week that they did not disclose rainwater leaks containing radioactive substances that were found in a drainage ditch, thought to be contaminated after last spring's rains. They knew that the water likely contained high radiation levels, with radioactive particles like cesium. We've already explained its cancer-causing properties, even before it was dumped. You mean before it was dumped like we reported on here? Please hit subscribe. The ditch is in direct alignment with runoff from the roof of Reactor 2's building. TEPCO admits that it recorded 29,400 becquerels of radioactive cesium per liter in water pooled on the rooftop. The same water also contained 52,200 becquerels of beta ray emitting radioactive substances such as strontium-90. If you don't know what strontium-90 is, look up strontium-90 bone cancer in a search engine. 1,050 becquerels of radioactive cesium. Well, Sam, I'm just the average Joe. What the hell is a becquerel? A becquerel is a radioactive mini explosion that takes place on the cellular level inside your body. Every single explosion has the potential to affect another cell and create a problem in the way that that cell dies. If that cell doesn't die properly, it may start creating a whole bunch of cells that do not die properly. And if that happens, you have what's known as cancer. Yeah. Oh, you thought I didn't know anything, didn't you? The same water contained 52,200 becquerels of beta-emitting radioactive substances. Now listen to this. Yuri Moriyama, a TEPCO spokesman said, "We are aware that the levels of radioactive materials around the drainage ditch were higher than other places." He added that they didn't disclose the information because it was not considered harmful to the environment. Well, if you have 52,000 chances per second of a cell deteriorating in a manner that would give you cancer, wouldn't you find that something that you might just want to be told about? It says the EU, which is the European Union for you hip-hop fans, and U.S. media, Radio Hip Hop, have also uncovered information about containing Fukushima leaks along the TEPCO border. So look it up. It's over there. Friends, it doesn't get any worse than this. And for those of you that don't know, I'm posting 2 nights in a row. I've got so much Fukushima information, and I am posting 2 nights in a row. It's going to be a double one this time. This is E&E News. Navy sailors suffer strange deformities after Fukushima exposure. Quote, testicles, that would be your balls for you Kesha fans, swell to the size of tennis balls after pants got so contaminated that they set off radiation alarms. Quote, her arms swelled up, looked like a baseball mitt. His fingers turned yellow, even brown. Feet now dark red. No, I am not reading to you the ramblings of a drunk man. That's how other languages convert into English. More importantly, I am not reading to you the terror of the latest horror story that I decided to write. No, these are facts. This is what happened to our men and women when Fukushima went red. And the radioisotopes that I'm about to comment on are still active. And life is, if you don't look it up, please try to pay attention. You will find that these radioactive isotopes are as dangerous now as they were when this happened to these men and women. In other words, this could be happening to you. This could be happening to you if you live on the West Coast, where I've told you not to live. This could be happening to you if you eat seafood off of the West Coast. This could be happening to you because of General Electric, which is TEPCO. Como 4 News transcript. This is the 11th, 2015 of February. Men and women sworn to serve now suffering from mysterious health problems. Local rescuers find themselves battling for the truth and their own survival. They had no idea of what was happening in coastal Fukushima. 3 of 6 nuclear reactors suffered meltdowns, then several explosions. Again, if you're new to the topic, please look up what that means. Prevailing winds set most of that radiation over the Pacific, where the 7th Fleet was positioned. That's our boys. The sailors say no one aboard ship took any extra radiation protection measures for probably about a week. Aviation structural mechanic Ron Wright remembers one time the scanners went crazy over the trousers. It was just being like beep, 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 he says. I lost my pants. The Navy continuously reassured him. Within a month of operation, Tomodachi, I think it's T-O-M-O-D-A-C-H-I, he started experiencing painful swelling of the groin. That would be the family jewels for you Top 40 fans. He's undergone 3 surgeries. That would be surgeries of his balls, but expects to suffer pain the rest of his life. Even more frightening, Wright's diagnosis of varicocele can lead to male infertility, the inability to have kids. In other words, here's what happened. He served his country. He did his best. They did not give him the ability to protect himself during a known meltdown and proceeded to tell him that every problem he has is somehow in his head as the male anatomy swells into the size of tennis balls. And we don't mean the sausage half. More of Wright's health problems with a link to it to prove that I'm not just giving you my opinion. They had to turn in the things that were deemed to be contaminated, which were then burned, which of course sends the radioactivity into the sky because it doesn't die by burning. He had to turn in his pants and walk through the ship in his underwear, which of course contaminated his groin directly because now he had no protection instead of poor protection. They always told us that they were safe. 1 month later, his testicles swelled up to the size of tennis balls. The pain was unbearable. A doctor on board recommended that the young sailor be flown out, partially because he didn't know what Wright was actually suffering from. In other words, they sent our men and women into a nuclear meltdown caused by an earthquake that they knew about, caused by a tidal wave that they knew was going to hit the nuclear power plant and likely cause radioactive issues, if not the meltdown that it did, and melt through and melt out. If you don't know what a melt out is, look it up. They gave him nothing to protect himself with whatsoever. Now, you might have just tuned in. You don't care about me. I'm just some idiot in a hat. You don't care about this guy. You have no idea who the hell he even is. Why don't you pretend it was you? Why don't you pretend it was your son or daughter and there were daughters on board and it's just as bad for the vagina? Why don't you pretend that was your kid and then see what your opinion is? It says, it's so horrible you don't even want to read it. It says he had to turn in his pants and walk through the ship in his underwear. They always told us that we were safe. Of course, always. 1 month later, his testicles swelled up to the size of tennis balls and the pain was unbearable. This is the radioactive isotopes that are just as plentiful now as they were when they poisoned him. I'm going to look up what a half-life is, or just trust me, both of which are going to come out to be true. The radioactive isotopes are still in the ocean and still in the Pacific Ocean, where you get your tuna from. Let me tell you what. While I might be a Christian in my private life, and I am the worst example of a Christian that you have ever met. Really, I'm really not a very good example of a Christian at all. But I've never lied to people about something that I knew would give them cancer. Please listen to this. I'm giving you this information because if you just do a little bit of research, you will find that I am trying to save your life, even if you're going to be stupid enough to vote for Hillary Clinton. Prisonplanet.com, it's actually only linked there. It's from End of the American Dream. It's where the site is originally sourced from. Michael Snyder, the New Madrid earthquake that will divide the United States in half. Now, why, Sam? Please, pray tell, why are you reporting on an earthquake in the United States if you claim that this is your Fukushima update? Do you realize how many nuclear power plants we have that could be affected by this if an earthquake was to hit in the area where there are nuclear plants running where they have no business running? Because if they melt down, they give you all of the horrible things that I just told you about to look up to prove that I was telling you the truth, which is why you're still listening. We need to shut down these plants and get the nuclear waste from them as quickly as possible, friends. This is bad. This is really bad. Once upon a time, North America almost divided along a very deep subsurface rift, writes Michael Snyder. Today, the rift system and the faults associated with it are known as the New Madrid Fault Zone. This fault zone is 6 times larger than San Andreas Fault in California, which you all know about, and it covers portions of Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Mississippi. Back in 1811 and in 1812, 4 of the largest earthquakes in U.S. history struck that area of the country. Why does that matter? Because it is the earthquake and not the tsunami which caused pounds in. Therefore, we know that there is a very good likelihood that an earthquake without a tidal wave can trigger a meltdown. The movement of the ground was so powerful that it changed the course of the Mississippi River back in 1812, and it rang church bells in Boston, Massachusetts, which, for those of you that don't know, isn't close to Missouri. So you may ask, could such an earthquake or worse strike today? Well, last year, the U.S. Geological Survey released a report that warned that the New Madrid Fault Zone has the potential for larger and more powerful quakes than previously thought, and there is a link for it at Prison Planet and End of American Dream. It says the USGS also admits that the number of significant earthquakes in the middle part of the country has more than quadrupled in recent years. It goes on that we also know that the U.S. government and large corporations are also concerned about the potential for a major New Madrid earthquake, that they have held major exercises that simulate one. Scientists, it says, tell us that there's just a matter of time until a major superquake hits the region. And personally, writes Mike Snyder, I am one of the millions of Americans that believe that we will eventually see a New Madrid earthquake that will divide the United States in half. Do you doubt that? Well, you're not doubting me. You're doubting Michael Snyder. So do me a favor, before you leave me hate in my comment line, look up Michael Snyder and see how much he's been right on. It's bad. And really, really not good news here, friends. Not at all. It says what everyone can agree on is that there is an area of significant geological weakness under the New Madrid Fault Zone. This area of weakness formed when the continents were breaking up. The rift that formed did not end up splitting the North American continent at that time, but the area of weakness remains, and this is from Wikipedia. It says that the faults responsible for the New Madrid seismic zone are embedded in the subsurface geological feature known as the rift that during the supercontinent Rodinia in the Neoproterozoic area about 75 million years ago. That's about when Ruth Bader Ginsburg was born. The resulting rift system failed to split the ancient faults, appear to have made the Earth's crust in the New Madrid area mechanically weaker than much of the rest of North America. This relative weakness that goes on is important. because it would allow the relatively small east-west compressive forces associated with the continuing continental drift, another link, of the North American plate to reactive old faults around New Madrid. What does all this mean? It means that if we are not careful of nuclear power plants, then we are in fact looking at a situation where we're going to have more problems with nuclear radioactive elements contaminating us, giving us cancer, and hurting us than ever before. Friends, I got to go. Who pays for all of this to happen? There's a camera there. There's a camera there. There's lights. There's lights. There's lights. Who pays for all of this? Mike McLaughlin, for one. You can look him up. He's a writer. Macy Laugh, L-A-N. He's a writer. He's a poet. And I am so proud to have a writer as a sponsor, a major sponsor of this show. Because when's the last time, even Stephen King, we'll go to one of the most popular writers of our time, Stephen King. When's the last time you saw an advertisement for Stephen King anywhere? You don't, because America doesn't read. But if you're one of the people that watch the Fukushima update, you're smart. You read. You know what's going on in real life, and you want to read good fiction. Do me a favor. Look up Mike McLaughlin on Facebook.com. Tell him you heard about him from the Correct Views, and let him know you want to read some of his fiction. It was really good, and I will stand by that. Friends, YNetNews.com report. U.S. cuts Israel out of Iran talks. Sam, why in seven hells are you speaking about Iran? Fukushima happened in Japan. At least I hope that's what you were asking. Otherwise, you're painfully lost. There are two things that I believe. And the first one is not opinion. The first one is that Iran wants to build a nuclear power plant on a known fault line. The last people that predicted a terrible earthquake in an earthquake zone were the people that predicted Fukushima. These same people are predicting an earthquake in Iran. Therefore, Iran should not build a nuclear power plant. Now, for those of you that say America has built nuclear power plants on top of fault zones, that is an equally stupid idea. But there's nothing you can do about plants that are already built. There's nothing you can do about plants that were built before you did a show. However, there are things that you can do to prevent them from repeating the same freaking mistakes. Part two, that is opinion. If Islam cannot get along well enough among its own dissenting factions to stop blowing each other up with conventional bombs, why should we trust them to not blow up the nuclear power plant just because it doesn't agree with their form of Islam? It says that the White House denies Channel 2 report claiming U.S. has stopped updating Israel about developments and negotiations with Iran in response to Netanyahu's planned congressional speech after Boner admits that he failed to tell the administration he invited PM. Now, I'm no fan of Boner, but he's right on this. The GOP has let down freedom, but not like Obama has. They're mad because Netanyahu was invited to the shindig and they were not. Well, let me tell you what, the reason that that might have happened, it might be because you have been an enemy of the country since day one. And again, I welcomed all you Hillary reporters, all you Hillary supporters, all you Hillary lovers. I told you you were going to agree with me all day. Do you want to die of cancer? I bet you don't. I bet you don't want to listen to this. No matter what your political affiliation is, you do not want to die of cancer. Well, I'm helping you let you know who is causing these issues. It says an Israeli report claims that the U.S. administration has stopped updating Israel about developments in nuclear negotiations between world power and Iran, allegedly in response to Prime Minister Netanyahu's decision to accept an invitation by Republicans to address Congress on the issue. They didn't tell Obama because Obama is anti-American. Now, I know, and this bothers me a lot. Why is it that so many people that are part of the liberty movement, of which I consider myself, why is it that so many people are against any form of restraint on this when you can see clearly that Iran is going to melt this down, even if they don't use it as a dirty bomb, which you know outright they want to do. All right, friends, Iran nuclear deal. Spoiler, Shia group takes U.S. embassy vehicles and weapons in Yemen. I actually have two articles to go, and I brought poor Christelle up here for nothing. Current Nemo Prison Planet. Iran nuclear deal. Spoiler, Shia group takes U.S. embassy vehicles and weapons in Yemen. On Sunday, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, said he would accept a compromise in nuclear talks with the West. All right. I got to remember I invited the Hillary supporters. So I'm going to pretend I'm talking to Hillary supporters, and I need them not to turn me off. And that's a hard one. Even if the Ayatollah Khamenei, and this hurts me to say, is right, they are sitting in an earthquake zone. Therefore, they're going to cause what Greenpeace, who you Hillary supporters support, Greenpeace said they're due for an earthquake. I would go along, it says, with any agreement that could be made. Of course, it is not a bad deal. No agreement is better than an agreement which runs contrary to our nation's interest, Khamenei said. Of course, it's his country. The Israelis are in steadfast opposition to any deal between Iran and the West. Now, personally, I support Jews. I do not support Zionism. My problem with the building of an Iran nuclear power plant is that they are building it on a nuclear zone, a nuclear zone. By that I mean a place that's about to look at a freaking earthquake that's going to come and going to kill a whole bunch of Jews and even more Arabs. It's true. It says the Israelis are in steadfast opposition to any deal between Iran and the West. Of course they are. Let me tell you why. Because I don't believe that Iran said that they were going to eliminate Israel from existence. I already know that that was misquoted. But ISIS will, in fact, use radical Islam which they are. I'm not talking to your average Islamist here. They will use it as a dirty bomb. What is a dirty bomb? Let's pretend my spit is poisonous. I spit on my hand. I'm not really going to do it. Puh! And then I fling it at the camera. High def, low def. I fling it at the camera. One of those spittles causes cancer. Therefore, you all got it. That's a dirty bomb. Being dirty, if you get hit by the quote-unquote dirt, radioactive, you get it. You get cancer, you die, you have heart trouble, your life sucks. They're also sitting on an earthquake zone. Listen to this. This is McLaughlin. The Bethlehem-based news agency, Ma'an, has cited the Kuwaiti newspaper report, with a link on it. It says Saturday that U.S. President Barack Obama thwarted an Israeli military attack against Iran's nuclear facilities in 2014 by threatening to shoot down Israeli jets before they could reach their targets in Iran. This might be one of the few things that I agree with Barack Obama on, but just for different reasons. It's not that I'm against Israel, it's because I'm against a nuclear meltdown caused by an earthquake, which I've already proven within the next 25 years. According to Al Jazeera, the Netanyahu government took the decision just in 2014, soon after discovered the United States and Iran had been involved in secret talks over Iran's nuclear program and were about to sign an agreement that lined Israel's attack. Now, let me point out here real quick that Obama is not a fan of Netanyahu. Therefore, he came in favor of this. But by siding with Iran, what he doesn't realize is he's setting up a nuclear power plant to go red in a major earthquake zone. Yes, I'm dying of thirst and I slurped into the microphone. If you want to do better, then go ahead and do so. The report claimed that an unnamed Israeli minister who has good ties with the U.S. administration revealed the attack plan to Secretary of State John Kerry and Obama when threatened to shoot down the Israeli jets before they could reach their targets in Iran. So basically, Barack Obama has put himself in this situation where he's going to support people based on a political decision, but completely miss that much of this is in fact a geological decision. We are looking at a major event here. That whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat, whether you think I'm really cool, or whether you think I'm the fat ass that you wish the hell would shut up, we are reaching a point here where this is obvious to everyone. Nuclear is not the way that we need to go. I'm not saying that I'm in favor of fracking. I'm not. I'm not saying that I'm in favor of pumping all the coal debris into the air that we can possibly promote, and let's just hope we all survive without getting a cancer. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, as Christelle almost falls over, is that we are not in favor of killing ourselves with coal. We are simply not in favor of killing ourselves in any way, shape, or form. Christelle, would you like the ceiling to fall on you?
No.
Did that feel good?
It didn't even hit me.
She made me do this. Did that feel good?
No.
Now, do you care whether or not that happened? She almost made it. Do you care whether or not that happened from the ceiling falling on you? I'm not on camera. Please turn it around. Do you care whether or not, fix it. Do you care whether or not that happened because I hit by random luck? Did that make any difference?
No.
All right, friends, look, the camera got knocked off balance. We're being silly. We got another report tomorrow. But friends, listen, I know I'm being silly. I know I'm being unprofessional, but listen to me. It doesn't matter whether or not you get, I'm going to do it again. It doesn't matter whether you get hit by the or whether or not the ceiling falls on you. It doesn't matter whether or not you get cancer because you agreed with me. And it doesn't matter whether because you don't agree with me. You don't. Friends, nuclear power is very bad. And that is why I will be here tomorrow night as well. Friends, good night. God bless. Thank you for tuning in. You're listening to the correct views. Do you like what I said? Even if you're a Hillary Clinton supporter, you know that you do in fact support what I said tonight. We only agree once a month. Please donate to me. You can do so at thecorrectviews@hotmail.com. Every penny you give to me goes to better shows. Also, look up to the youtube.com/thecorrectviews, youtube.com for everything with the media speaks. You've got Kyle, Court, D. Lake, and myself always on. We had like a lot of listeners today. Some of you have tuned out. Thank you, friends. This is like, thank you very much. Good night. God bless.